What's going on, everybody? 41 Jake here. Happy Monday. I can't believe the quarter is almost over. Half the year is almost over. Here we go. This is going into prime time. This is where you want to put a lot of effort in and a lot of work because it's going to pay off the last half of the year. I am excited because really I think the markets are causing a lot of people to take it a little more serious, and they're taking more time to really explore how they're saving for retirement, which creates opportunity because they start to find problems, questions, and it opens a door for you to come in and talk through some things. So I want to just share with you some ideas that I've been having lately as we've kind of weathered the storm, I think, pretty well. From my own practice perspective, I think it's been a unique opportunity where we had a few new plans come to the door at the end of last year, which went through transition, which has been a ton of work for us during this time. And we're able to continue to have our growth go up even through COVID. And one of the most fascinating parts to how our company is set up is we have a separation of the owner or the founder of our company, whose name is Marty Watkins, who's an amazing guy. We'll have him on the show. I'll have him on the show here pretty soon. From our CEO or Joe Griffin, who runs the day-to-day, who runs our operations, who sits down with, deals with all the problems, I think all the headache that can come with being a business owner, so that our founder can sit down with clients because he's really, really great with clients. And I just spent the last few days with him meeting one-on-one with individuals in our plans. And that wouldn't be possible if he was trying to do both. Now, in my past, I've worked with firms that had owners that tried to do both. They tried to be an advisor, they tried to be a business owner. And they really didn't do great at both at the same time. There's just not enough time in the day to do both well. And as your practice grows, I know that there's definite limitations depending on how much revenue is coming in. You can't just go out and hire if you're a solo practice. And if you're already part of a big organization, this isn't something you really can have an impact on, but you'll see the different levels. I would say some of the larger organizations have too many levels, too many people in there. And it's reflected kind of in the pricing, right? Because you got to cover all these different management levels. And so there's a real fine balance to find in how a practice can be the most efficient from a leadership perspective, but also from a client servicing perspective. And knowing how to balance and understand your role in the company is so important. It goes back to any kind of team sport, and I think back to even just simply when I was watching The Last Dance, and I just had this conversation actually with my 10-year-old and his coach, knowing his role. So my 10-year-old's been playing comp soccer for a few years now, and he's had his moments where he's doing well and other moments where I'm like, I don't know if he's improving, and we try to figure out what does he want, where does he try to go, but also what does the coach have in mind for him, because there hasn't been this super great connect. And we finally had an all open discussion about it and really was able to relate it well because we just finished watching The Last Dance on ESPN with him. And the part I brought up with my son was saying, do you remember the last part, I think it was in the first finals, where Dennis Rodman knew the last shot was not coming to him. He knew his role was not to take the final shot. He knew Michael was going to take that. And so talking to my son, who's been playing kind of on as a forward, and it's interesting because he's not a super amazing shot taker at times. He can, but he just was trying to balance it out. Like he was trying to figure out, is that his role? And we finally we made some changes, and now he knows his role. He knows what he's supposed to do. And I see the very same thing in businesses, where too many times people are trying to take on way too much and are not able to delegate different things that are outside of the things they do well. They try to be the best at everything, and in doing that, they become mediocre at everything. So taking a step sometimes can be really critical in your own 401k business. Taking a step back, I mean looking at your business from an outside perspective, getting some real guidance to look at what is going on, because you can get wrapped into the business, doing all the work every single day, dealing with emails, dealing with questions, rollovers, constant things that are going to pop up all the time. You're never going to progress if you don't figure out how you're going to balance and delegate the things that are the most impactful for you to take advantage of spending your time on. So I encourage you, as we head into the second half of the year, take Take one day, whether it's on the 4th of July or whenever you find just even half a day, a few hours where you can just disconnect, put your phone away, put your laptop away, and just take a second to be creative and map out what your business, where you want your business to go, the problems that you're constantly having that you wish you didn't have to deal with, and who you have to help you with those. Try to figure out if there are things you can offload onto other team members if they're available. If not, maybe there's a third-party vendor or some way you can outsource some of those things. Maybe you hate doing due diligence on mutual funds and investments and you just wish that was handled. And maybe finding a 338 solution or a managed account solution could be the best thing for you. Maybe you don't have time to sit with one-on-one clients and do one-on-ones with all of them because you have a niche that has thousands of people. How are you managing that? Because if you're not thinking that through, someone else will be, and that will be your competition, and they'll have an advantage over you one day if that comes out and the client sees that as a real value they're looking for. So just take that time. Do a mid-year analysis of your business. Look at what is being done that's going well. Look at what's not going well. Look at what you can do to double down on what you're the best at. And get some candid feedback from those people that you trust that are willing to really share it with you and know that you're not going to get offended when they tell you the truth. Okay, so just be self-aware of it. That's a big thing, is know what you're good at. And don't try to be the best at everything and think that that's possible, because you're not going to be the best at everything. I know I'm not the best at a ton of things. I struggle with emails, and I've struggled with them for a long time because I let them control every minute of my day. And I've finally figured out how to do that, and I have an amazing solution, and it's my director of operations. She does an amazing job keeping me basically in line with what I need to focus on, and every day she pushes me even harder. So figure out where it is you need to put your extra effort into and make the changes that need to happen to get there. A lot of times you probably already know what those are. You just haven't taken the steps to make it happen. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, make that happen. Take those steps. Go for it. This is a great time because summer's a little bit slow, especially with COVID still going on. You're going to have a little bit of time to adapt and really get ready, because I think the end of this year is going to be an incredible opportunity for 401k advisors, because people are taking it serious. People are reviewing their plans more than they ever have because they were in financial turmoil earlier this year. And this is one piece to that financial puzzle, and people are willing to make those steps to change and improve their plan from a lot of different reasons. So I challenge you to do that. That's all I got today. Have a wonderful Monday. As always, make it out to the club sesh. We just had our last one. The next one's July 17th. Every 3 weeks, we're going to have these. Next one's on record keeping, due diligence. That's a huge value add that you need to have a good process for. Otherwise, you're just going to recommend the person you had lunch with the day before, which now we don't do lunches so often. So how are you doing your due diligence? How are you listening in on what your record keepers are doing? And how are you making actual advice to a client on what they should do next? All right. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, everybody.